What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 5 of the IGN Arena MOBA and Competitive Gaming Podcast. I'm Leah B. Jackson, and today I'm joined by Mitch Dyer.
Hello.
Brian Albert is back.
What's up, everyone?
And joining us for the first time is Josh Miller, our intern. He is filling in for James Faulkner.
Glad to be here. Rest in peace, James.
He'll be back next week.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yes, he's not dead.
Oh.
He's okay. It's okay.
Fun fact, if you close your eyes and just listen to Josh's voice, he sounds like Colin Moriarty.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
It's definitely true.
So Uncharted 3 is a 10 out of 10. Beautiful game.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Pretty good. No, but we're going to talk about some awesome MOBA-related things,
Yes.
topics on the show today. If you love MOBAs, make sure to check out and subscribe to IGN Arena on YouTube at youtube.com/IGN Arena. We have tons of discussions, tips, trailers, all the good stuff that MOBA fans love
Indeed.
on the IGN Arena YouTube, so make sure you check that out.
We have a lot of those now.
Yes.
We have many MOBA fans subscribing to that
We
channel.
do. We actually just passed 7,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So
Turns
thank
out
you
people
very
like
much.
MOBAs.
Oh my gosh. Good thing we're doing a podcast about them. We're going to have something to give away to our awesome subscribers at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that.
Ooh.
But let's just roll right into it because
Hit
we
me.
have a lot of cool
We
stuff
got
to talk
topics.
about
We
today.
got good topics
We
this
got
week.
good topics this week. We have good topics every week, though.
Well,
so,
yeah.
But,
They're especially good this week.
okay, good. I'm glad.
They're
I'm glad you
more
guys are
gooder
excited.
this week.
Good. So let's start off strong with
Yes.
we're going to talk about discovering esports and
Yeah.
how we kind of got into esports. And I want you to sort of start us off.
Yeah,
Mitch.
you bet. So Katie Casarda, who's an IGN designer, and I kicked off the first of what I hope will be many letters on IGN with Courier's Corner. It's our new Dota, mostly Dota, but probably MOBA-centric letter column where we just kind of propose an idea, write a letter to the other person, and then they respond, and that back and forth goes on for as long as it needs to. In our case, Katie and I kind of had like a one-off discussion about esports, and I a year ago kind of looked down on that term. I thought it was dumb. I was like, that's just like electronic sports with cyber athletes. Like it's just.
And I was the type of person like, I hate Mitch.
Yeah, 100%. And like looking back now, it's like I totally know why I thought that way, but where I am now, it's easy to understand. Like with sports in general, you don't really understand what makes them cool or important or special until you actually try to engage with them. So if you're looking at an esport, whether it's Counter-Strike or StarCraft or Dota or League or whatever, if you don't know anything about it, it's very easy to dismiss it as unimportant or not cool or trivializing the idea of a sport or athleticism, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
About whether or not esports players are athletes. And since I started playing Dota last year, when you got me into it in November, I've started slowly encroaching into like more and more esports territory.
Right.
And I realize now, like, as I learn Dota 2 and as I learn League, I'm starting to follow the scene a bit more. I'm starting to understand, like, man, this is like a really dexterous thing. You need legitimate kind of like athletic skills to understand how to play these games well. And that's made me really start appreciating and falling in love with esports.
Okay.
So now, like, I'm going to the International next month. And last year, a friend of mine went, and I was like, why would you go waste your time watching Dota in a building with a bunch of people playing Dota? Like,
Oh, Mitch.
and now I totally get it. It's
Oh.
like I cannot stop thinking about like competitive side of Dota, not just playing Dota, but like watching people play Dota and analyzing how they're playing, especially pros. Like watching pro matches and going, how does this guy play this character? Has become like a recent obsession.
That's cool. I mean, what about you, Brian? Because I know that you also are a big watcher of of esports and Dota. I mean, how did you discover your love of esports?
So we'll go back to the very start, which was
Sure.
actually Halo 2,
Wow.
which it was much less organized then, but it started out with there's on G4, I think it was on X-Play, it might have been called Extended Play at the time. There were like Halo tips from this pro named Tom Taylor.
Yep.
And I was like, I love Halo. This guy is awesome. This is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
And then I started sort of following that scene, but it just wasn't as vibrant at the time, even though Halo 2 obviously had awesome multiplayer.
Yeah.
But more recently with Dota, it was maybe a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
And then I was just playing, and I didn't know what I was doing, and then I just would like watch some pro games for a while, and I was like, these people are playing in ways that I never
This is
thought
like
you could
next
possibly play.
level. Yeah.
Right. And like, I need people who have played this game for years to analyze what's going on, and casters who are telling me what's happening and why a player did a certain thing.
Right.
And once I finally started, like, I can't play at that level obviously, but I can like comprehend it. And once that clicked, like it's just done.
Yeah.
Like I spend hours and hours a week watching pro Dota matches
It's
now.
kind of like, to me, what it sounds like is that you sort of pick up the language. It's like you're learning a new language when you're learning these new MOBAs and sort of this terminology that you uncover as you start listening to the casters and listening to what people are saying and kind of getting into that community. Everything starts opening up and you get more and more excited about what's going on because now you understand it. And like you're saying, just sort of understanding what's going on makes it so much better.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup is happening right now. And if you aren't soccer literate, it's very difficult to understand why a huge play, like this crazy pass that turns into this crazy play that, like, oh, they were almost offside. Like, to understand the mechanics of it, you really do have to involve yourself. And if you're not doing that, then it's just like you just can't talk about it. Like, don't dismiss something because you don't understand it. And something Katie brought up that I thought was really interesting goes back to what you're saying is, like, I think players are the link. Watching a pro player, having someone to relate to, looking at someone and going, I want to learn from you. Like, Katie talked a lot about Dendy. Dendy's the guy, like, obviously, because he's incredible. And you look at stuff like the International 2's, like, the play, that big thing. Like, how did that happen? Let's watch this 1,000 times and see how this pro player perfectly pulled off this unbelievable perfect split-second decision to, like, win this team fight. I don't know. Like, that's really fascinating to me that people are operating on that level and that we can strive to do similar things.
What about you, Josh? How did you get into the esports?
Well, so I guess I'm the odd man out here because as much as I love esports and I love that it's a thing, I have to be, like, it's the same reason I can't watch regular sports. I have to be engaged. I like to play sports, but I don't like to watch it. The same thing with esports. Like, I love to play MOBAs, Dota 2, League of Legends, could play it all day. When it comes to watching a match, I'll watch one and be like, all right, yeah, that one play, that was cool, but I'm going to go play a game now.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, maybe I'm not learning as a result. Like, I learn by playing, but there's probably so much more I could learn by watching other players.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing out on that, but that's just not how I learn as an individual.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's like a year ago when I was the dismissive guy, like, I don't care about this. If I watched a Dota match, like James, who is not here today, showed me the video of the play. And I'm like, I don't understand why all these people are yelling. I don't understand the visuals of what's happening on screen. And it is what you're talking about. It is a literacy problem. You do have to learn. And if you don't take the time to do it, then, I don't know, I feel like you're not necessarily justified in dismissing it. You have to try to understand something to be able to understand why it's flawed enough to be dismissive about it. And that's a problem, I think, in gaming culture in general. And as esports starts taking off, and maybe this is just because I'm starting to get into it, I feel like it's becoming more part of the norm. Slowly, esports is creeping into more and more facets of games, and people are starting to fall in love with it and understand it and want to be part of it.
And also, like, more and more facets of everyday life, like, outside of this small MOBA sort of group of people who love it. Like, this week, the Robert Morris University added League of Legends as a collegiate athletic, like, to their athletics program, to their varsity athletics program. They're giving away $40,000 scholarships to people who are really good at League of Legends. So, I mean, that's going to be another way that people are going to be able to discover esports going into the future. Just kind of like, now it's on a college level, and there's going to be collegiate teams that are playing against one another, hopefully. Like, that's crazy.
And that's going to, like, make so many parents just get it all of a sudden, right? Like, oh my God, my kid is, like, in college because of this game. He spent hundreds of hours playing.
Money talks. Like, I don't have to, my kid doesn't have to take out loans because he can play League.
I don't have to pay for college
Yeah.
because of League.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
gosh.
Ryan.
It is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, another huge tournament that is going to be coming up really soon that sort of will involve tons and tons of people is going to be the International 4,
I've heard of that.
2014.